Alright, so here we go, number 5, and trying to get a variable by itself. This one looks like it'll be fairly easy to get a variable by itself, so I'm going to do 3x minus 3y equals 30. I'm going to try to get x by itself. So I'm going to add 3y to this side, get rid of that, and add 3y to this side. I'm left with 3x equals 3y plus 30. I want x by itself, so I'm going to do the inverse of multiplying by 3, and that's dividing by 3. And so now I have to divide everything by 3. So x equals y plus 10. So now that I know that x equals y plus 10, I can take that y plus 10 and I can sub it in for x. So I'm going to take this and sub it in for x right there. I'll sub it in as red, and we can see what this looks like. So we have negative 2 times y plus 10, let me close the parentheses, plus 8y equals negative 26. So, distributive property, like you learned in 7th grade, negative 2 times 1y is a negative 2y, and a negative 2 times 10 is a negative 20, and then don't forget your plus 8y equals negative 26. Now I can combine like terms like you did in 7th grade. If I have a negative 2y and a positive 8y, they come together to make a 6y. And it's positive 6 because I have more positive y's than negatives. And I'm trying to get the variable by itself, so I'll need this negative 20 to go away, so I'll do the opposite, which is adding 20. I'm left with 6y equals a negative 6, because the signs are different, so you subtract, and you have more negatives. So that's why it stays a negative 6. That's 7th grade stuff also, adding and subtracting with negatives. So now I want y by itself, so I divide 6 by 6, and then a negative 6 by 6, and I'm left with y equals negative 1. And the reason it's a negative 1 is because when you divide a negative and a positive, well then it's a negative answer. And that's also 7th grade stuff. So basically, this is like a whole bunch of 7th grade work, but we kind of build onto it. So I guess that's why it's important that every school year you're doing well, because math it totally builds on the previous years. All right, so now we have y equals negative 1. So what I'm going to do is I can take y equals negative 1 and sub it in for y. And what this equation is going to look like, I'll sub it in as blue. X equals, and instead of y, I'm going to put negative 1. I'll sub it in as blue, so negative 1. And let's see. So now we have a negative 1 and a positive 10. That is a positive 9, actually. Okay, so x equals 9. So if I was going to write my answer in coordinate pairs, my x value is 9, and my y value is negative 1.